This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Straight back into the footy, and over the recent weeks, in particular this year, we've seen a lot of stuff go down at the tribunal where no one's happy and everybody's a bit confused about how things are getting read these days.
Either looks like they haven't really done anything.
Yes,
and they're getting
true.
reported and suspended. Or then there's the cases where it looks like it was brutality and the sentence isn't enough.
It's really confusing.
And each week you look at it and go, well, that's like that incident, but they don't treat it the same. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, once you think you worked it out, you haven't worked it out. Well, Hamish Brayshaw is playing for East Perth at the moment. He was with West Coast and his brothers were playing in the AFL, particularly Angus. He had to retire due to head knocks. Andrew, of course, is at the Fremantle Dockers. He joins us after writing a bit of an open letter yesterday. He's not happy with the AFL. Ham, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks very much for having me on.
You've gone all in, Hamish. I like it.
Yeah, I have. It's. I was just a little bit fed up with it, and as you said, the inconsistency of it. And one week, one thing's going on, and then the next week they just sort of change on a whim. So I penned a little bit of frustration, and it seems to have resonated with a few people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Have you had any response coming towards, apart from people like us, punters, and maybe anything from past players and or players that have said thank God you've got this out in the open?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of that from current and past players that have sort of agreed with me, and especially from those guys that are still playing. It's getting really tough to sort of figure out what you can and can't do, and I think they're a little bit as perplexed as we are. But it's sort of changing the way that they have to approach the game, because what you think you can, what you once were able to do, you now can't, and then. But that changes week to week. So if you think you can pick up a ground ball this week, you might not be able to next week. So there's some certainly confusion with the players too.
Where do you reckon the line should be, Hamish?
Well,
it's hard, isn't it?
And to be fair, I don't really care where the line is, as long as the line is the line and doesn't move every week.
Yeah.
I've said this a few times. If you want to protect the head at all costs, protect the head at all costs, and have that be your number one rule, and don't flip and change. Don't let Charlie Cameron get off for being a nice guy if he's driven someone into the ground head first. But if you want to then protect the game a little bit more, and you want to allow for tackles that you can't do anything else, well then you have to give and take somewhere. And I don't know what that goes to. I don't know. Does it end up with players having to sign a waiver to say, if I get caught in a dangerous tackle that's okay in the way the laws of the game are written, then maybe I'm okay. But yeah, I just would love a line that doesn't move every other week.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, Hame, because a lot of people, and I saw Jonathan Brown, we spoke to him last week actually talking about this. He was saying, the future's Gaelic football because they kind of keep... The AFL's
so no tackling is what you're saying.
Yeah. The AFL's worried about the litigious side of things. But if you were to... I always thought this. When I was playing, I guess I knew what I was in for,
but you didn't know what the long-term effects of sustained head injuries were.
Oh, well, you see it firsthand. But if we go into the competition these days knowing that there's a chance you can get hurt, like a lot of things you do when you sign waivers out.
A generation of young men being, medicked out of the game, like Hamish's brother.
Look, it's hard. You don't want to see instances like what happened to Angus all the time. Nathan Murphy's just retired this year, and it's becoming more and more frequent. But I think if you were to survey the 800 or however many AFL players there are and say, look, if your career is to end by a freak incident that is the nature of football, everyone knows that you sign up for that going into it. You sign up to play a contact sport, and sometimes these errant hits or wayward knocks happen. The only thing there is that you sort of it opens yourself up to a little bit of confusion with dangerous tackles and all the rest of it, and what isn't a football act. But yeah, I just think the whole idea of this constant flipping of the line, and this is 1 week, this is going to be a thing, and it almost seems like whatever the flavour of the week is, do I need to make an example out of someone? In that case, I'm going to give you 4 weeks. Like the Peter Wright incident for mine was the first big head collision that's been aerial since Angus got hit in the head, and they said, we need to stamp that out, we're going to give him 4 weeks. And then fast forward to Toby Green, who I think did almost the exact same thing, jumping at a mark, last second he's had to pull out and protect himself. He only got 1 week. So it's that inconsistency that really frustrates a lot of fans and sort of frustrates players as well.
The issue with Charlie Cameron with his tackle was a strange one as well, because whilst the AFL tribunal let him off, the AFL have the chance to then they can contest it and appeal it, and they have done that. They've set precedents before. They've done that before. Even though Andrew Dillon said he wants to tighten the loopholes at the end of the year to make sure that doesn't happen, they didn't appeal it.
No, they had the opportunity because everybody liked him.
Yeah, and they wanted to hear the gambler getting played at the Gabba the next week.
Yeah, they say they want to tighten loopholes. They say they want to do the right thing, and then all of a sudden it'll be, okay, I'll push that back to next year. And then they had the opportunity to do the same thing and let a guy off who runs a charity, is a very good guy, has never been suspended before, and they said, oh, no, we're not going to let that one happen this week. And, it's once again goes to show the sort of the constant backflipping and back and forth between what they, it's just on a whim, and I don't think they really have any idea about what's going on. And it's a very hard game to adjudicate, and I'm not saying that it's an easy thing to sort of fix, but it's just the consistency, one stance, and then go from there. I think would be a really good start.
You're right. Like, umpiring the game, not easy at all. But the tribunal have the benefit of hindsight, of slow motion, of everything. Like, they can actually analyse it and draw a line and stick to that line if they want to. They just haven't chosen to.
Yeah, correct. And I think the other thing that sort of gets to me and has obviously resonated with a lot of other people is this 1 week they decide to punish the outcome, the next week it's the action. I mean, Jesse Hogan punched someone in the face in the goal square, and there's footage of it on a goal square camera, and the AFL said, it wasn't hard enough to hurt the bloke. So, he doesn't get a week.
Yeah, so it's outcome-based, Yeah,
that's outcome-based. And I mean, I'm obviously not saying that Andrew Gaff punched Andrew as hard as Jesse Hogan punched Young, but, you're still swinging at someone's face, and it's got the potential to cause harm. So, you can't, I think if you're trying to stamp out an action, you can't let a bloke swing in someone's face and hit him and then say, oh, no, it didn't hurt him enough.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, this has been a big topic of conversation over the last couple of months in particular. Haim, thanks very much. Give your podcast a plug.
Yeah, so that was it was on the Backchat podcast.
Yep.
I texted the boys in and said I've got something to say, and they were more than happy for me to go ahead. So we're on live on Mondays and Fridays, and from 4:30. If you can't get live on YouTube, we're on Spotify the next day. So that's where you'll find me making any more contentious.
Or at least Kane Corns. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not being contentious for the sake of it. You're being contentious because it's an issue that needs to be cleaned up,
and
everybody agrees with you. From the fans' point of view, you bang on.
No, thank you very much. It just feels like there's a few people out there who don't really know what's going on with the game and have been lifetime fans, and it's certainly something that I and a lot of other people would love to see cleaned up.
All right, love your work, Hamish. Thanks, mate.
Thank you very much, guys.
Or as the kids would say, thanks, bro.
Good on you, bro.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Bit of a heads up for everybody out there. We've got a chance to be the Bankwest Docker for a day, including 5 tickets to the game and more. You can hit up the novafm.com.au, and you can be running out at Optus Stadium with this man, Shaun,
leading
Darcy.
This guy out.
How are you, big guy?
Yeah, going well.
You were just saying off air that you've actually pulled up okay, because the first couple of weeks you come back playing, you cop a few knocks.
Especially after surgery, anything you're sort of doing running or jumping wise, your knee blows up. And then you just got to find the balance, and lately the knee hasn't been swelling up, which is a good bonus to have. So you're starting to feel like a footballer again.
You know why? Because you're young. Wait till you're Shaun's age. You'll be crawling again.
Man, I have to have a pillow between my knees. I've got so much pain going down my ass, really. That's where it's coming from.
What are you doing at that?
We're looking forward to
I'm busy. I had a late night last night. It was a good way to get back on track last week against the Western Bulldogs. Absolutely killed them in the midfield, led by you, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
The boys played really good footy. We moved the ball really well. I think our clearance work has been pretty good, apart from the Eagles game all year. So the boys have been going really well in there. And then, we were happy about how we moved the ball. It was a little bit shootout-ish in the first half. So, it was a bit slingshot. So we had to look at that about half-time. But after we got our defence...
What do you mean by that? Like, you just like just kicking and hoping? Is that what...
No, it's more we win or they win. It's not like dirty exits or things like that.
Sure.
So that's something that if we're a midfielder, we either want to win the clearance or we want to help our backs by it being really dirty and not clean.
So it's
ball.
really contested. So that it's harder for them. Yeah.
The dirty aspect.
The
Nat.
dirty.
That got your ears up. Absolutely. This game against Richmond's going to be interesting because expectations are that you're going in and win this game, but it's not as simple as that. I was just saying before that Richmond have got a past players event, so they're going to get all their old cats around.
They'll be inspired.
Or their old tigers around them to be, create some atmosphere.
Yeah,
so they're just not going to lay down.
No, they don't. And they're a team that that they're going to fight, they're going to compete, they're going to scrap. The pressure's going to be really high. It's going to be turnover footy, so a lot of transition. They don't have a lot of stoppages, so it can be as you can see, they pushed Melbourne to about three-quarter time last 2 weeks ago, and then they've beaten Sydney as well. So especially at the G, they know how to play the G. So
now, Darcy, Shaun thinks that if past players are hanging around, that's an inspiration. Interesting perspective. How do you feel when there's past players just hanging around?
Well, if Shaun is hanging around, it's definitely an inspiration.
It's an inspiration.
Is it? Or you go, oh, good on you, old timer, and you give him a pat on the back and hand him a beer and go, yeah, you go and sit over there.
Right. They need to get me down to the gym and then all hell will break loose. What,
they have to call an ambulance.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. No, the back will go on me. It'll be a really good game. This kind of sets Freo up for the rest of the season. It's such an important game to get through.
Oh, no pressure.
Yeah, exactly. And especially at the G, we don't get many opportunities to play at the G, so all the boys are thriving for it and really want to get there.
When you play at the G, what are the facilities like? Are the change rooms a bit crap because it's so old, or have they done it up a bit?
No, they've done it
compared
up.
to say
It's
Optus
bigger.
that's new.
Yeah, Optus is probably newer, but
Yep.
the G's bigger, and it's the G. So
Yeah, it's got some atmosphere. Yeah.
You walk outside and you see the big stands, and you're like, it's like a coliseum. So it's a great place to play
So this
footy.
is the 42nd time that Fremantle will face Richmond. The first time was the first game that Freo ever played against Richmond.
Yeah.
Played at the MCG. I thought it was at Waverley, but I think it was at the MCG.
And the Eagles played Richmond first as well.
They did too.
Yeah.
They really.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So, do you know who kicked the first goal for Fremantle ever in their club's history?
I do know that, but
You don't want to give everybody the answer in case it's a quiz night?
Exactly.
coming
That's
up?
exactly what I want to do.
Okay.
Do you
Todd
want to tell us?
Ridley.
Todd Ridley.
Yeah.
Ridley.
Do you know who? So you wear
The
number
name
4
on
for
everybody's
Fremantle.
lips. Yeah.
The very first person to wear number 4 for Fremantle?
Yeah, no. I'm shocked.
Was it not on your lockers and stuff? Did
No,
they?
you only get if you play 100 plus games.
Right.
Natalie, you've got a great memory. The first person to wear number 4 for Fremantle, which is currently worn by Shaun Darcy.
No, I don't know.
Andrew Wills.
Oh, Andrew Wills.
Yep. Look like Gargamel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darcy was like, no. He was bald, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, or very blonde. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else can I tell you about that game? Who wore 32 in that very first time? Wore 32 for Fremantle, and the very first time that Fremantle set foot on the MCG to play Richmond.
I would have said Peter Bell, but no. Who else has played 32? No idea.
Peter Bell.
I should have said it.
Oh,
Should have said it.
I'd give you the point for that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
unbelievable stuff there. How many points did Fremantle lose by that day? Their very first game in the AFL. 5.
5.
So Richmond got up by 5 in that one. There's a picture of Andrew Wills on
Yeah,
that.
there is.
So when the Dockers first came in the competition, in the first year, won 8 games and then continued to be between the 8 and 10 and a half game mark for the first 4 years. And in that period, they were given like a 1 first-round draft pick type of stuff. So draft pick number 1, we picked up Clive Waterhouse. Another one was Jeff White.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah. And you think about all the other teams that have come into the competition. Gold Coast Suns, GWS Giants, Port Adelaide, Tasmania, right?
Yeah.
They're getting 20 out of the top 30 picks.
Yeah.
Fremantle didn't, and they came in and the AFL were keen to, and it's probably because it's run by the East Coast, were keen to just have a bit of a chip out of West Coast.
Yes.
Side.
Slow 'em down.
That's all that slow them down, and then so they never gave Fremantle anything in those days. None of those teams that I listed won a game 4 years
They got you, though.
for free. Fantastic. First ever person to wear number.
8.
I saw the panic. I saw the panic in his eyes, and he got there. Well done.
Good luck against Richmond, Shaun.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.